Good evening and welcome to the 2020 Center for Fiction Awards benefit. Featuring appearances by James McBride, Laura Benanti, Ta-Nehisi Coates, Ethan Hawke, Chris Jackson, Vinnie Malhotra, Deshaun Charles Winslow, and the announcement of the Center for Fiction First Novel Prize winner. And now, please welcome tonight's host, co-star of HBO's hit series Insecure, comedian, writer, and Emmy-nominated actress, Yvonne Orji.
Good evening, friends. Welcome to your own home. I am Yvonne Orji, and I will be your host for tonight. Now listen, just because we are doing this from the comforts of our own home does not mean that we cannot get glamorous. I mean, look at me. I put on shiny shirt for you. I got lip gloss. Do you understand the last time I put makeup on? I did this for you. We are here to celebrate a New York gem, the Center for Fiction. It is a haven for writers. And listen, I haven't just finished my very first book. Let me tell you, writers need havens. Okay, they need coffee, they need hugs, they need to be left alone, possibly some strong drugs. I don't condone it. I'm just saying I've heard some things. Also, more hugs, but definitely havens. All right, my first book is called Bamboozled by Jesus, How God Tricked Me into the Life of My Dreams. Now, a lot of people say, Yvonne, I don't know about that title. I don't think Jesus bamboozles people. And I'm like, have you not been alive in 2020? Bamboozled, okay? Let's talk about the Center for Fiction. I'll tell you guys, it champions the art of fiction in a way that really no one else does. I see what you did there, Center for Fiction. That was a light flex. You're like, what we do is something so dope that nobody else does. I want to have that same confidence.
The Center for Fiction is the country's only literary center devoted solely to the art of fiction.
It's good to imagine what it must be like to be somebody else.
Within these walls, we bring together diverse communities, welcoming readers and writers of all ages to develop and share a passion for fiction.
Good fiction tends to leave the reader with questions rather than answers.
Originally founded in 1820, the Center for Fiction was built on the idea that with access to the best of literature, everyone is able to find a path to possibility and opportunity.
For 25 pages at a time, I can make the world make sense.
Through public performances, educational programming, fellowships, working space for writers, and awards, we support the creation and enjoyment of fiction to assure a strong future for storytelling across boundaries of identity and experience.
Tell me about the most emotional parts of your life, telling about your sexuality to your family. Go ahead.
As Ralph Ellison said, good fiction is made of what is real, and reality is difficult to come by. Our recent move to our vibrant new home in Brooklyn has opened up worlds to us, providing significant expansion of our educational and cultural programming and expansion of our audiences who are more diverse in every way.
Holy moly, talk about a book.
To learn more, visit centerforfiction.org.
That building is stunning. As soon as they open up fully, I know where I'm going to be, right there. And you know what? It kind of strikes me as the perfect place to have a date. And can you imagine if a guy is like, hey, so I just want to take you to the Center for Fiction. It's like, ooh, so you read books. I'm just saying, just giving you guys ideas for dates. I mean, and if one of you guys want to take me out on a date, well, we can just arrange that right now. So what's your name? What's your favorite book? Yeah? Who's your favorite author? Too much? Afterwards. Okay, we'll talk after the show. Anyway, tonight we are here to give awards away. All right, we've got new voices to celebrate. We've got money to raise. So let's party, right? And to help us do that, it is my honor to introduce Center for Fiction's board chair, Errol McDonald.
That girl is on fire. Thanks so much, Iman. Warmest welcome to each and every one of you joining on this occasion to support the Center for Fiction's mission, which is to champion the universality and diversity of storytelling, the better to enlarge our understanding of who we are, our relationship to each other, and to the world. We live in parlous times when a plague rages across the land, imperiling lives as well as so many of our communal and spiritual rituals, including the practice and appreciation of art. When authoritarian tendencies seek with grim determination to obscure and even deny the ties that bind us, children of all ages, yet we know that in the beginning was the Word, hovering over the abyss, indomitably creative, bringing light to absolute darkness. So it is that we gather at this Jubilee in celebration of the redemptive power of imagination and the righteous will for social justice. During the course of this shindig, I beg you, should you feel the spirit, to give as generously as you can toward realizing the Center's mission. Go to centerforfiction.org/donate. With gratitude galore for your friendship, we thank you in advance. All right, everybody, on with the show.
We are kicking things off with a very meaningful award, the Center for Fiction Medal for Editorial Excellence, which recognizes exceptional achievement by an editor, publisher, or literary agent who has discovered, nurtured, and championed writers of fiction. The 2020 winner of this award is Chris Jackson. The New York Times has credited Chris with building a Black literary movement, noting that he is one of the industry's few Black editors and someone who is transmitting ideas from writers on the margins to the mainstream readers who need to hear them. And to present the award to Chris, we are super honored to have with us someone who is a legendary member of the literary community. He is a National Book Award winner. He is a MacArthur Fellow, and he is a #1 New York Times bestselling author. He is none other than Mr. Ta-Nehisi Coates.
In my experience, in terms of the business of publishing, I would argue that writers are overrated and editors are deeply, deeply underrated. Now, some of this is built into the very form of writing books and publishing books. It's the writer's name, not the editor's name, who's on the cover. Most editors that I've met don't tend to want to be celebrities or tend to be out front. But when I think about my own career, and I think about what was made possible, and I think about what's happened and what made those things possible, the indispensable element in that career, specifically when it comes to books, is my editor, Chris Jackson. The best way to get this across, to have folks understand what is oftentimes an obscure or somewhat opaque relationship, is to explain the story of how I came to write and ultimately publish Between the World and Me. Between the World and Me began really as a feeling, a kind of notion that a type of book needed to exist in the world. This is circa 2013, 2014. Trayvon Martin has been killed. We're seeing the beginnings of the Black Lives Matter movement. We are watching the first Black presidency in American history. And I, as a writer who's seeking to try to challenge myself and rereading James Baldwin's The Fire Next Time, and I was seized by this deep feeling that a book like The Fire Next Time really should exist in the world. Although I wasn't clear on what that would be, I wasn't even clear on how that would be done or how that could be done. And so in thinking about that, I called the only person who would know, as far as I was concerned, the only person that was really qualified to know, and that was my editor, Chris Jackson. And what he told me was two things which I think are key to understanding why we're even here today and why Chris is receiving this award, this accolade. He told me, A, that the road is littered with writers who tried to do some rendition or who found themselves inspired to do something by the fire next time. And as scary as that was, he then told me, but despite that track record, I think you are the writer that could do it. And what was in that was two elements that are key to Chris's editorial approach, and that is a cold kind of reality about the standard that was being set. But beyond the cold reality, a deep belief in the person that you sent out to try to achieve that standard. I believe I rewrote Between the World and Me 3 or 4 times. Every time I turned in a draft, what I got back was, this is good, but here's what we need to do. This is good, here's what we need to do. Here's what we could do better. And I'm deeply underplaying the detail in which these notes and these edits often went into. What I'm clear on when I look back is that had I had another editor, they likely would have took that first draft, cleaned it up a little bit, and probably published it as a book. That happens all the time in publishing. But it is, and Chris, frankly, could at this point get away with doing that. At that point, he could have got away with doing that even. But I think it's a testament to his high standards. It's a testament to the standards that he brings to One World. It certainly is a testament to the standards that he's brought to me and my career, that he is constantly pushing his writers to do the thing. And by the thing, he means good. He means not good, but great. And that's the standard that he's always going for. When I think about my pride in the books that I publish, I think about Chris Jackson as an indispensable element. When I think about my pride in being associated with One World and all the accolades it's garnered, I think about its principal, Chris Jackson. So it really is my absolute pleasure and my honor to present Chris Jackson with the Center for Fiction's Medal for Editorial Excellence.
Thanks to Ta-Nehisi, who I'm sure said something either really powerful and deep with meaning about the world or something very rude about me personally, but I know either way it was done with love. Thanks also to the Center for Fiction, who for some occult reason decided to present me with this award. The confusing part is that I still consider myself sort of new to the business and not really ready to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award, or maybe in some critical ways, I still feel very much outside of this industry. Some part of me still considers my career a deliberate act of spite against the literary world. But I'm accepting this award on behalf of the writers I've had the privilege to work with over my career, who've written, to my very biased mind, some of the most important books of the last many years, from Trevor Noah to Ta-Nehisi Coates, Brian Stevenson to Carla Cornejo Villavicencio, from Jay-Z to Victor Laval, from Jill Yovi to Mona Hanna-Attisha, Ibram Kendi, Eddie Wong, Alicia Garza, and on and on and on. And I'm sorry if you're one of the authors who just got shoehorned into on and on and on, but I don't have a lot of time. But I love them all and have learned so much from them about how to find meaning and joy and justice and clarity in the chaos of this life. And I've learned from their readers too, that the things that have taught me and moved me and seen me can teach and move and see millions of others. As I'm sure every editor and writer can attest, there's really nothing quite like seeing a reader with a book that you worked on, knowing that the book is now working on them. When I helped my ex-partner to open her first bookstore, McNally Jackson, we put a James Baldwin quote on the first bookmark. You think your pain and heartbreak are unprecedented in the history of the world, but then you read. The immense privilege of working as an editor is to be there at that point of connection between the writer and the reader, the moment when the author's work of creation or co-creation with the editor enters its next act of co-creation, where the author's consciousness mingles with the reader's, another generative act of meaning-making, the miraculous work of our stories. So thank you to the authors who I've worked with and the readers who I've read with. It's been a pleasure to create with you all. I thought about making this quick thank you a tribute to the library nestled in the housing project I was raised in, a second home for me as a child, the place where I first discovered this repository of meaning-making technology. But I hate nostalgia. The world I grew up in, the world we all grew up in, has not earned it. This award was once named after Maxwell Perkins, as many of you know, and as may have already been discussed. When I got my first job in publishing, the editor who hired me sent me home on my first day with an essay about Perkins, who I'd never heard of, but was presented to me as the model for an editor, the editor of genius, of Fitzgerald and Hemingway. But of course, as we now know, Perkins was also the editor of books on eugenics that Scribner published just as eagerly, books about the genetic inferiority of Black people, immigrant hordes of Jews. I thought about how those things could coexist, a dedication to literary excellence and a warped, twisted, violent moral imagination. Honestly, the industry I entered on that first day, an essay on Perkins in my hand, was haunted by those two ideas. A high self-regard about the importance and power of the written word, coupled with not to put too fine a point on it, white supremacy. I've seen across my career the struggles of my black colleagues to stay in a business that always felt hostile, not built for us, in the rare events that we were hired at all. I saw authors of color whose books were pushed to suit the perceived needs of a white narrative, to fit the sensibilities of what some editors have thought of as their ideal reader. I saw this done by editors who had the most exacting literary standards, or so they thought, because they were also burdened by ignorance and biases, and even worse, they allowed themselves to be sloppy, unscientific, careless, and stupid when it came to certain subjects. The editor of Genius, Max Perkins, published books of unscientific, poorly reasoned nonsense, but books whose ideas had violent, lethal consequences for the country, for people like me. This was the industry standard. The library nestled in the foothills of Grant Housing Project was half filled with poison. The country we live in today, informed in fact an imagination by an industry haunted by the ghost of its past, is exactly what you'd expect. But it was only half filled with poison, half with the antidote. Books are a salvation, many of us say, but in some ways they're saving us from other books. I'm very pleased to be the first recipient of this new award, not named for Perkins. The thrilling thing about the past is that we can abandon the parts of it that don't serve us and imagine something new in their place. Book publishing is the ideal place for that kind of imagining. Our industry is full of bright, dedicated, creative, inspiring people. I feel like the colleagues I have today, editors, publicists, marketers, production editors, lawyers, inspire me every day in a way that I've never felt before in my career. And additionally, suddenly, it is an industry full of new blood, and perhaps exorcised of some old ghost. The publishing industry that serves us all, that helps us better imagine ourselves into each other's lives, better see and understand each other, and create a better world, is ours to make. Thank you again.
Hi, I'm Christopher Aaron, and I'm the least photogenic and the least eloquent of the 4-member Brooklyn Caribbean Literary Festival team. We are currently in our 3rd year, and the Center for Fiction has been an important partner since the inception of our festival. In the present day, many organizations claim to be committed to diversity and inclusion, but the Center for Fiction has gone beyond the everyday corporate lip service and has shown a genuine dedication to marginalized groups. As such, the Center for Fiction is very important to our mission to promote and celebrate Caribbean voices and Caribbean literature. Keeping ticket costs low is an important way to reduce the barrier to entry, and we'd be grateful if you could help us do just that by making a donation tonight. And now, let's learn a little more about the wide-ranging public events programming offered by the Center for Fiction.
We are particularly proud of our innovative public events programming, which brings together storytellers across genres and from around the globe. Take, for instance, our Storyteller series, which pairs authors and performers to illustrate the joy of stories coming alive when read aloud. Seen here, featuring Issa Davis and Andre Holland as they perform a dramatic reading from In West Mills by Deshaun Charles Winslow, winner of the 2019 Center for Fiction First Novel Prize.
You think your people know you snuck out their house yet?
Well, if I had snuck out, he replied, standing straight and putting his hands in his pockets, they wouldn't be able to find me. I'm a long way from home.
Our event that kicked off the 3rd annual Well-Read Black Girl Festival welcomed both the organization's founder, Glory Edom, and world-renowned LGBTQ poet and spoken word artist, Stacey Ann Chin.
But I walk into a lot of rooms feeling like I do not necessarily belong, but I also have this feeling of like I do deserve, like I'm working just as hard.
Whiteness certainly makes you belong, and maleness makes you belong. And Black women couldn't be further from any of those things, you know?
Each year, we present more than 150 authors and artists in live and now virtual events that showcase storytelling across many art forms, integrating music, film, and the visual arts.
What I found going through prison, you know, as I was reading what I was reading, and I was free all of those years because my mind was free.
The immigrant experience is the human experience.
It is really fascinating to watch you work out a critique of consciousness from different angles.
We hope you'll check out our calendar and join us soon for one of our talks, panels, or performances.
It's like, why don't you just stand up and just applaud for your badassery?
You can support our groundbreaking public events programming by making a donation now.
Now it's time to give an award to someone young, someone fresh, and someone who's just shaking the ground up. Presenting the award for the Center for Fiction First Novel Prize is last year's winner, Deshaun Charles Winslow. The New York Times said of Deshaun, the precision and charm of his language lure us in and soothe us. Just take this excerpt, for example. A hot biscuit that looked like it could be melted down and used to make a necklace and a pair of matching earbuds. Did anyone else get hungry just hearing that? A hot biscuit that looked like it could be melted down. I'm hungry. Guys, please welcome Deshaun.
Good evening, and thank you for being with us tonight. First, I'd like to thank the Center for Fiction for its continued work and care for writers and for readers. The center has been great to me and my work, both as a writer and as a teacher. So I can't let this moment pass without expressing my gratitude. Thank you very much. We, this year's judges, felt transported and captivated by all 7 of the finalists' lovely novels. Our work was hard, but we enjoyed it. I'm so lucky to have worked with 3 astute judges with such passion for fiction and books. We listened to each other closely and thoughtfully every step of the way. So I'd like to thank Stephen Block, Hallie Butler, and Jenny Ophil for being such great literary citizens. This year's finalists are Indelicacy by Amina Kane, These Ghosts Are Family by Macy Card, Temporary by Hilary Lecter, Luster by Raven Leilani, The Red Shirt by Corey Sobel, Shuggy Bane by Douglas Stewart, and How Much of These Hills is Gold by C. Pam Zhang. The winner of the 2020 Center for Fiction First Novel Prize is Luster by Raven Leilani. Many congratulations to you, Raven.
This is really special to me, so I want to take a moment to thank everyone who helped make this happen. First, I want to thank the selection committee and Center for Fiction for choosing my novel for this award. Center for Fiction was actually the last place I did a public reading with a room full of people before the pandemic hit. So this really means a lot to me. Thank you to my cohort, my mentors at my MFA at NYU. Thank you for challenging me and pushing me while I was writing this book. Thank you to my family for being who you are and for making me feel like art was a worthwhile pursuit. Thank you to my partner, Evan, for reading all of my early drafts and for standing by me as I got this work out. Thank you to Trident and to FSG for ushering this book into the world with incredible enthusiasm, even in the midst of this unprecedented climate. You really made this first time around so special and so wonderful. I want to say thank you to the librarians and the booksellers and the indie bookstores who have advocated fiercely for this book and made this experience what it is. Thank you to everyone who came to this book with generosity. It has really meant everything.
Hi, I'm Dennis Williams. I'm a board member at the Center for Fiction, and this is...
Alarm.
Do you know what the Kids Read program is?
No.
No, you don't. Okay. Do you want me to tell you about it?
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you about it.
Kids Read provides stimulating literary programming for children and young people from under-resourced New York City public schools. It brings more than 2,500 students in grades 3 through 12 to the center annually for events with today's most talented children's and young adult authors, whose books the students will read and write about in class. In addition, we provide copies of the featured book for each student to keep, free of charge.
Rather than just keep continuing to talk about what I've already done, I
figured we would try and make something new together.
It's really surreal because I thought no one is going to publish a book with a gay black main character.
Up, up, up on each knee, bent like half moons. Well, baby, you are an awakened dream.
At the moment, the center is not able to welcome students in its Brooklyn home, but we're not letting that stop us. Kids Read is providing virtual storytelling contests, reading groups, writing workshops, and author visits in partnership with New York City Public Schools.
Pretty cool, right?
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Creating interest and excitement for children and young people of all backgrounds who hunger to see their lives reflected in print has never been more important. That's why we're honored to have a diversity of writers participate in Kids Read, selected for the quality and relevance of their work and their ability to broaden worldviews and spark imaginations.
Don't touch my hair. Okay? Don't touch it.
Beginning in the earliest years, fiction elicits our sense of curiosity and wonder, and as research has shown, expands our capacity for compassion and fear.
But don't take it from us. Let's hear from some experts.
What is imagination?
Imagination is creativity, and you can make anything.
Imagination is something that your mind thinks of. So you just think about it in your brain, and then you say it out. It's a creation of anything that could happen.
First, Goldilocks tries the big bowl, then medium, and when the bears come home, it's a mess.
It's like thinking in your brain so you can dream and think about something you can make out of playing and dreaming and sleeping and playing and telling a friend what to do.
What makes a good story?
When it entertains kids, like when it entertains the reader.
Adventure, action, and a tad bit of mystery.
If the reader likes the book, then he'll say, "Oh, I like this book. It's a good story for me." It teaches you a lesson.
It helps us learn how to clean. That's how it's a good story.
But not everyone thinks the same book is a good story. You have to look deeper into the personality of people to find out what people call a good story.
To be able to tell their own stories and have their voices heard, children need to read stories that evoke our shared humanity and help counter the divisiveness of fear. To do so, our communities need programs like Kids Read.
Do you like books?
Yes, I love to read. I love books.
How much do you like books?
100,000.
100,020.
Do you like books?
Let's just say this. I'm like, with books, I'm like so-so.
To make a donation in support of our Kids Read, Kids Write programming, visit centerforfiction.org/donate.
Can you say the website one more time? Centerforfiction.org.
Centerforfiction.org/donate.
High five, buddy.
Kids read and say the darndest things. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the Tony Award-winning Broadway star, Laura Benanti.
Careful the things you say, children will listen. Careful the things you do, children will see and learn. Children may not obey, but children will listen. Children will look to you for which way to turn, to learn what to be. Careful before you say, listen to me. Children will listen. Careful the wish you make, wish wishes are children. Care for the path they take, wishes come true, not free. Care for the spell you cast, not just on children. Sometimes the spell may last past what you can see and turn against you. Care for the tale you tell, that is the spell. Children will listen, children will listen, children will listen.
Hi, I'm Raul Esparza, and as someone who cares deeply about storytelling, I'd like to encourage you to donate to the Center for Fiction tonight. The organization is important to me because fiction has been a part of my life since I was a very little boy. I have read incessantly since as far back as I can remember, and I don't know how to get through a day without the great stories and the books I carry around with me. Fiction's connected to every corner of our lives like a web, and the great authors tell us stories about who we are and who we have been and who we might become. So if you're able, please go to the centerforfiction.org/donate and give what you can tonight to this fantastic organization and keep the stories alive.
So guys, let's keep it real. This year has been all about adapting. Am I right? Like, we've had to learn how to adapt, adapt our routines to allow us to spend more time at home with, the people that we thought we loved. I mean, we did love them, but just not every day. When we saw them in our spaces, in our homes, in our face, in our kitchens, in our face. I mean, I love you, but my gosh, give me some space. I'm just speaking hypothetically, right? I just feel like that's how we all felt. Still feel? Definitely still feel. Anyway, we've had to adapt to working out from home or not working out at all, tomato, tomato. Or as my mom would like to say, tomato, tomato. Exactly the same. Well, the Center for Fiction also appreciates the art of adaptation. And that's why every year they give the Center for Fiction On-Screen Award honoring the groundbreaking creation of original works on film and TV that mirror the complexity and vision of great novels. Whether it's on screen or between the pages of a book, adapting important works of fiction helps to capture brand new audiences of all ages. This year's winner of the On-Screen Award is Showtime's phenomenal series, The Good Lord Bird, based on James McBride's novel of the same name. In Showtime's The Good Lord Bird, Ethan Hawke, Daveed Diggs, and Joshua Caleb Johnson star in a humorous, dramatic, and historical tapestry of antebellum America, told from the point of view of Onion, a newly freed teenager who joins abolitionist John Brown on a holy crusade to end slavery and finds himself part of the famous 1859 raid at Harper's Ferry. The limited event series is an adventure that's equal parts absurd and tragic, spotlighting the ever-changing racial, religious, and gender roles that make up the American identity. It's my pleasure to introduce executive producer Ethan Hawke to present the 2020 On-Screen Award, which will be accepted by both Showtime Executive Vice President, Nonfiction Programming, Vinnie Malhotra, and the author of the award-winning novel, The Good Lord Bird, James McBride.
Hello, good people. My name is Ethan Hawke, and I have been tasked tonight to speak to you about James McBride. James McBride is about one of the easiest people to talk about in the history of the world because of the way that I feel about his writing. I first came across The Good Lord Bird, and I just kind of giggled my way through the whole thing until I was in tears, and I put it down, and I felt punched in the stomach. If getting punched in the stomach made you a better person. That's what I felt like happened. Some kind of like Zen master had just kind of knocked me. I realized I had this a wave of feelings came over me, and I asked myself, what am I feeling? I was like, oh, besides being blown away, I'm having this other feeling of being wildly jealous. Jealous that another human being could be this gifted, that they could express themselves with this kind of ease, this kind of joy, while simultaneously talking about our nation's greatest wounds and some of the deepest, darkest places inside the human person. He can talk about it with so much air, so much love, that it has that healing power that I felt when I finished Anna Karenina, or, a great novel. So I damn well should have been jealous. Not many people are blessed with this. Then I went on to read his other books, Color of Water, Kill 'Em and Leave, Deacon King Kong. This is a major, major writer, and it's an honor to present myself and be in any kind of association with him, because strangely, mysteriously, annoyingly, the man is just as good as the writer. So it's with great honor that I get to represent the Center for Fiction giving a prize to Mr. James McBride. Because there's a lot of people on this planet that get prizes that don't really deserve prizes. And this is a man who should have some prizes on his shelf.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be a recipient of this award. It's something that I never thought would happen, and I'm just very grateful. And I'd like to thank all the people involved, Ethan and Ryan Hawk, who walked it through from start to finish, and the very gifted showrunner, Mark Richard, who put so much of it together. And of course, Jason Blum and the Blumhouse family. Jason is a fearless explorer of new territory in television. And it was an honor and a privilege to work with him, and I was proud of the way he muscled this project along. I'm deeply grateful to Showtime for taking this on and putting it together in the right way. And they showed so much courage and resolve, and I'm very proud to be part of that. And I was very proud to witness their dedication to the piece and the thought that went into their promotion and marketing of it. The production team who did this work were from all walks of life. We were all different politically. Directors and art directors and makeup and costumes, so many people. We all might have had political differences, but we all saw the importance of the story. And that's really why I'm so proud of these gifted people who put their shoulders to the wheel and push this thing across. John Brown wanted us to live together. He wanted equality in this country, and that's what we're aiming for. The good Lord bird, the actual bird, is gone. It's extinct. So let's work so that other birds like the good Lord bird are not extinct. The metaphor of the good Lord bird is this: when you let something beautiful die, if it's gorgeous and irreplaceable, it never comes back. Let's banish the evil now. Let's not let it come back. Let's let America be what it was supposed to be and what we know in our hearts what it truly is. And that is the ideal of equality and liberty for all. It's a difficult thing to do. Most other countries haven't done it. We're doing it. We're trying. We're doing our best. And so let's forgive the past and move to the future. That's really what this piece is trying to show. The man gave his life for justice. So that's done. Now let's learn the lesson and pull together as one. Well, thanks a lot. It's just great. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Thank you so much to the Center for Fiction for including Showtime in this distinguished honor tonight and the celebration of the good Lord bird. Anytime we can be mentioned in the same breath as incomparable artists like James McBride and Ethan Hawke is a true honor for us at Showtime. We'd like to share tonight's award also with our partners at Blumhouse Television. Without them, none of this would have been possible. Literary adaptations is nothing new. I don't have to tell anybody that. But to adapt something as powerful as the good Lord bird comes with a great weight and a great responsibility, something that we took very seriously across the board on this team. How James McBride navigates that story and moves so deftly through a range of emotions, from belly-aching laughter to anguish and agony and tears, is truly remarkable. And to do it through the character of Onion is something that is truly awe-inspiring in terms of what he has done with this book. So for Ethan Hawke and the Blumhouse team and everybody involved to take that and translate it over 7 episodes for the small screen was really something that took a lot of creative power, hard work, and perseverance. And I truly, truly congratulate everybody for doing that and for it coming out the way that it did. We're truly, truly proud of that. The Good Lord Bird is an exceptionally powerful story coming at such an intense time in our society and in our lives. And it is absolutely the right story to be told at the right time and in the right way. So congratulations again to the real stars of the night, James McBride and Ethan Hawke. We at Showtime are so proud to just be a part of this team. Thank you again to the Center for Fiction for recognizing that work and honoring it tonight. And I hope maybe we can join you in the future over drinks at Cipriani. But for tonight, remote remarks will do. Thanks again. Have a good night.
I am so excited to be highlighting the Center for Fiction's Emerging Writers Fellowship Program. It is all about lifting up diverse voices, inspiring a new generation, and starting conversations that, frankly, we all need to be having. These are just a few of the many ways that we as a society can work towards a goal of unparalleled importance: social justice. One word at a time. Let's hear a little bit more about the Emerging Writers Fellowship Program.
Our year-long Emerging Writers Fellowship Program offers promising new writers the chance to get out there and be heard.
Well, you're not ready for something you haven't seen. The fact that they're not ready is a reason to do it.
Each year, 9 talented New York City-based early career writers are provided with a grant of $5,000, mentorship by an experienced editor, a place to write in our writer studio, and a range of opportunities to forge industry connections.
I wanted this fellowship so badly that this was my 8th time applying. It was so worth it.
When I first found out that I was accepted, and I had this thought like, wow, with a one click of the acceptance email, this whole world can open up to you.
It was important for me to learn a little bit about how one creates a writing life.
In recent years, 17 fellows have published debut books that they developed during their fellowship year, all of which came from connections made as a result of their fellowships.
I really valued having that space as a fiction writer because I got to go behind the scenes, hear agents have conversations with their authors, editors have conversations with their authors, and get to mingle with people afterwards.
It was just an incredible honor to be a part of that community.
It's just the basic guideline is, you know, a community of people who really love books, who are really getting together. And it is simple, but it means if you're a writer or you're a reader, it means the world to everyone.
You can support our emerging writers by making a donation at centerforfiction.org/donate.
As our evening comes to a close, I would like to extend enormous gratitude to our event chairs, Mary Jo and Ted Shen, and to our co-chairs, Celia and Henry McGee, Marva Smalls, Zibby Owens, Suzanne Laurie Parks, Issa Davis, Andre Holland, Wendy Wayland and David Mikulek, and Marissa Alperin and John Lowe. I would also like to thank our generous sponsors, as well as everyone on the Center for Fiction staff. In particular, our Director of Development, Linda Morgan, and Interim Executive Director, Michael Roberts. We give thanks, of course, to our brilliant impresario tonight, our executive producer of this event, Megan Loughran, and of course, to all the many honorees and special guests, including Laura Benanti for her inspired performance, and of course, our incandescent MC, Yvonne Orji.
All right, guys, like a Boyz II Men song, we have now come to the end. I gotta find it. End of the road. We've just come to the end of the show, guys. And before we go, I would personally like to share with you my reading list. Yes, I be reading books, y'all. And as a proud woman from Nigeria, you know I gotta share some authors from the diaspora that I absolutely love. All right, so first up, Yagyasi. Her new book, Transcendent Kingdom, is chef's kiss. And then there's Loving Color by Bolu Abolola. Yep. Ties That Tether by Jane Ikaro. And, my girl, Basi Ikpe's I'm Telling the Truth, But I'm Lying. Oh, wait. And if you haven't donated this evening, it's not too late. Take the chance right now to do so. All you gotta do is super easy. Go to centerforfiction.org/donate and just give whatever you can, knowing that any amount is going towards supporting the art of fiction and the many people who raise their voice through fiction. So you, through your giving, can help them be heard. Well, I'm personally thrilled that we got a chance to celebrate some of those amazing writers tonight. And the fact that we got to give out awards means that there are some people that won in 2020. And sooner rather than later, who knows? We will all be getting together again at the Center for Fiction, reading, writing, listening, learning, maybe going on a date. You know what I'm saying? You know, is it you? Is it you? Anyway, good night, and thank you guys so much for being here. All the best. Bye.